And we're back. Codcast season 3. We are hitting the end of July. Things are coming to a wrap here quick. We want to talk All Star. We haven't done that yet. And we actually have a special guest hopping on with us this week to recap some of that All Star stuff. I'm your host, Matt Pajak. Really excited to get Antonio Morales on here from the Falmouth Commodores, local kid. Won the MVP for the West in the All Star game with a couple of knocks. Talk about his Cape experience. Talk about his background growing up, going to Cape games, potentially. So, yeah, without further ado, let's get Antonio in here and let's talk Cape League All Star Game 2025. And we're back with Antonio Morales of the Falmouth Commodores, local kid. Antonio, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, of course.
Yeah, it's awesome to have a local guy on. You're from Norfolk, Mass. You went to Roxbury Latin. Talk a little bit about your background. Growing up in Eastern Massachusetts, close to the Cape. What exposures did you have to the Cape growing up? How cool is it to now play in the Cape after growing up in relative close proximity to the Cape?
Yeah, so in regards to the Cape, I always knew about the Cape. I always knew some of the players that had played in the Cape, and I did go to games when I was younger, and it was just really cool to just kind of just look back and be like, I was looking up to kind of the players that I'm playing against and with right now. So it's just a really, really cool experience. But growing up playing baseball in the Northeast, it's you can only really play during the spring and summer. In the winter, you're doing workouts indoors, you're just lifting, you're training. But just in high school, it was you just had to grind, you had to find a way to get better. And then during the spring and summer, you just play. That's how I got my exposure, was just playing in the summer, going to tournaments in Arizona, Florida, Georgia, all that. That's kind of how I got my exposure, not from just playing high school baseball in Massachusetts. But that's kind of how I got my connection to Wake and how I ended up getting here. And yeah, I'm just really grateful for it all.
Yeah, so talk a little bit more about, I guess, your exposure growing up. So you mentioned, you grew up in Massachusetts. Massachusetts high school baseball isn't really known nationally for anything, right? But there's always players that come out of Massachusetts, and there's players that come out of New England in general. 5th overall pick in the MLB draft, Liam Doyle, is from New Hampshire. Not sure we would have ever, said that. Didn't think I'd be saying that, but here we are. Jeremy Pena, the shortstop for the Houston Astros, World Series MVP. That dude's from Rhode Island and went to school at Maine. And I think the Cape League does a really good job bringing in a lot of those local players. Not just the D1 guys. Maybe some of the D2 and the D3 schools that are in the area as well. And then also, guys that have grown up in the area and have gone on to other schools. So there's a rich tradition of high school players in the Northeast going on and playing at Vanderbilt, going on and playing at some of these top Power 4 programs. So you're one of those guys. You mentioned it. You're at Wake Forest now. Talk a little bit about what club did you play on when you were in high school that kind of got you that exposure? Because like you mentioned, you have to go outside of just playing high school ball in Massachusetts in the spring to get recognized. To talk a little bit about that journey, because it's a little bit different than a guy who's from California where, you just play with your high school year round and you get seen by everyone that needs to see you.
Yeah. So I had a very unique experience playing for a club. So I played all the way up to 14U with Nakona Baseball, which is at least they used to be out of Ashland, but that's where I played club baseball from 9U to 14U. And then an ex-teammate that also played on Nakona with me got in touch with Coach Jason Ferber, who's kind of an Instagram, he's on Instagram. He has a big following, but he also had a couple teams that he was coaching, and he had a connection with him. And he said that I should try and play on that team. So what ended up happening is I ended up driving to Diamond Nation in New Jersey to play a tournament, and that was kind of like my tryout. My tryout was play a tournament, and I ended up playing really well. And he said that he wanted to open up a spot for me on the team, and that team was based out of New York. So during the summer, I was really never home. It was driving to New Jersey, driving to New York, and then for the big tournaments, you're flying to Georgia, Alabama, Florida, Arizona. Those are all places that we went to. But that was kind of my experience from 14U all the way up to 18U. And that's when I got all of my college exposure, was kind of in those big tournaments down south.
New Jersey and New York, great, group of players to latch onto there. I'm sure you played with a ton of really good players from New Jersey. Whether it's North Jersey near New York City or South Jersey closer to Philly, Jersey's just always loaded with talent. So, I think it's important for the people listening to this to kind of get a little background on like, okay, well, how did you get here? Because, you're a Massachusetts guy and you ended up at Wake Forest. And, I guess maybe some people don't look into it that deep, but I think there's a lot of people out there that are kind of curious of like the whole journey. So appreciate you sharing that with us. Talk a little bit about your time at Wake Forest and then ultimately what led to Falmouth. Was there a connection to Falmouth from Wake Forest with the coaching staff, or kind of how did you end up a Commodore?
Yeah, Wake Forest, I had a really great time at Wake Forest. I came in there, I think, July after my senior year. So I went really early to go to summer school. And that was kind of like my first taste of like what it was like to be like a college athlete. Like they opened up the weight room. We could use the field whenever we wanted, and all that. But I think it was a great time. I learned a lot and I developed a lot. The coaching staff over there was great. I think they give you the tools but you have to work hard and you have to put it together yourself over there. And that's kind of what the two-year journey was like about. But yeah, the coaches, they preach just like being a genuine good person first, being a good student, and then prioritizing baseball after that. So I like what they're doing over at Wake. It was a really good experience for 2 years. But I got to Falmouth because our pitching coach, Corey Muscara, he knew Salty, and he kind of just gave him a recommendation saying that he thinks that I could play for him, play in the Cape. And that's really all it was. Salty ended up agreeing, and then they sent over the contract, and just like that, I was a Commodore. So it worked out really well, and I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, it's crazy that at every level of this game, it really is who you know.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously that comes paired with being talented. But it's like there are guys out there who are talented who, don't lean into those connections on who they know. But that's how you do it. You got to be talented, and then you got to lean into, who you know and kind of get into those networks. So, that's awesome. I want you to talk a little bit about your experience on the Cape, host family experience. Talk a little bit about them. How's that been? Are you the only guy in there?
Yeah, so I am the only guy in my host family. What's really funny is a classmate from Roxbury Latin. He has a house in Newton and also has a Cape house in Mashpee, which is about 25 minutes from Falmouth. So I'm living with my friend's family in the Cape for the summer, and I'm the only one here. But awesome. that worked out really well. That was just lucky. But yeah, I'm just living with my friend and my friend's family back from high school. So
yeah, there's so many different like cool host family experiences or opportunities on the Cape. I think it's something that makes the Cape special, is kind of the connection to the community. I think that's awesome that you had a family connection there. Makes it a lot easier to kind of get settled in. Give me a little bit on some of your favorite places on the Cape. Now, it might be like a beach spot, it might be like a food spot. Is there anything that you've tried this summer that you haven't had before? I know geographically you're not that far from where you grew up. But yeah.
My favorite beach to go to is like we usually go to Falmouth Heights Beach, which is kind of like near Shipwrecked, like in Falmouth. That beach is really nice. We usually go there on every off day, but when we get one. But for food, I go to I'm a creature of habit, so I kind of rotate through like 3 places like weekly for like lunch and dinner. But I really like Taco Blanco, which is near the field in Falmouth. That place is really good. There's an Italian deli right next to the field as well, which is amazing. But those are like my 2 main spots that I go to. I probably eat at those places 3 times a week, 4 maybe.
Yeah, you can't beat a Northeast Italian deli. You an ice cream guy?
Yeah, I mean, I'll eat ice cream. There's ice cream shops everywhere down here.
Yeah, I
But
feel
no,
like
I haven't tried one yet.
yeah, I feel like I had a family member tell me they went to Falmouth and they tried like a lobster ice cream.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know. I'd probably try it, but I don't know.
yeah, okay. I don't know about
Yeah, I don't know about
that.
that. Well, cool. So you got voted to the All Star Game, which is obviously a really cool honor. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And then you went to the All Star Game and you had a couple of hits, and you ended up the All Star Game MVP for the West. Really special. Talk to me about the All Star experience. Did you have family there? How was the experience?
Yeah, I mean that was a day I'm gonna remember for the rest of my life. To be quite honest, I had about 12 family members there too, and it was a great experience. It was a great environment. It was really well organized. So shout out to the Cape for that. But it was fun, man. Like just being able to play against like, all these studs, all these really good players. I'm really grateful for it. I'm grateful for the opportunity. And it was cool. Like there were a lot of people there. It was loud. It was a great game too. It was a slugfest. The hitters were hitting. But no, it was great. I'm grateful for the opportunity.
The Cape League All Star Game's always really cool because you've got these like high school fields, and it's just kind of like there's a lot of people that want to be there, so you just kind of like jam them wherever you can fit them, and it has a very like I don't want to say like street ball feel to it, but kind of like in that sense where it's just like there's people
Yeah,
everywhere,
100%, 100%.
Yeah. So like there's a really cool buzz about it. That's awesome that you had that experience. Your family was there. You had a couple of hits. I know that every game on the Cape is like a de facto all-star game because you're a collection of players, really good players from all over the country, a bunch of different schools. But that all-star game kind of takes that to another level. Talk a little bit about what it was like playing with, I guess, a different group of all-stars during that all-star game, where there's some guys that you kind of gelled with, where there's some relationships that were formed.
Yeah, so I think that we were kind of all there to have fun. So I think the team chemistry naturally was like really good because everyone's just so excited. Everyone's really happy to be there. So like everyone's being very social. Everyone's talking to each other. Everyone's having fun. But I remember that I was talking with like the Bourne guys a lot. Like for like the last couple innings, like I was just talking with them, just like getting to know them, all that. I have a ex teammate, Cade Lewis, who is at Wake right now, and I mean he was on the same team as me, so I was talking to him as well. But yeah, I mean I'd say obviously my own teammates. I would say that it was really cool how everyone kind of like naturally just started gelling together immediately. Like it was immediately as soon as we got there at 11 o'clock. Like it was just a great vibe. It was a great atmosphere. So that was really cool.
That's awesome. So I was talking to my buddy last week. He played in his first Major League All-Star game, and he was talking about watching everybody else's process. Now I know that the Cape League All-Star game probably doesn't have as much of an opportunity to go watch guys, go through the routine and whatever that is. But did you have an opportunity to kind of witness other people's routines? Did you take anything away from, some of the other guys that you were there with, anything on that level?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't necessarily like looking at their routines. I was kind of trying to figure out like what they were trying to do with the plate, like almost what their approach was.
Yep.
Like almost like, like are they trying to see it up? Are they trying to see it down? Are they staying on spin? Are they looking just heat or middle? And I was kind of just thinking like, what would the pitcher throw right now? So I was kind of like just in the like heading the game that way, just trying to think about like the process of the game and the battle between the pitcher and the hitter. So that's kind of like what I do during like every game. It's just kind of trying to figure out like what the pitcher's trying to do, maybe how the hitter can counteract that. But yeah, that's kind of what I did during the All Star game, and it was cool to see like because there were definitely different types of approaches, but it was cool to see how players did that.
Yeah, and the best players out there, and kudos to you for kind of poking around on what other people are seeing. The best players in the game are collectors of information, and then finding ways to sort through that information and then apply it. So, yeah, I mean, it sounds like it was a really good day out at YD. Obviously it was a high scoring affair.
Yeah.
It looks like the weather held up nice, which is good. Always good when you have a good weather day for the All Star game. But I want you to talk a little bit more. Let's go outside the All Star game here. And let's talk a little bit more about some of the best players, in your opinion, that you've either played with or against, and then maybe the best arm or two that you've faced this summer.
Okay. I would say Ryder, the shortstop for Bourne. I played 6 innings with him in the Cape, and I played against him last night, and he's made like 4 diving plays. Like he's unbelievable defensively. So kudos to him. He's probably the best defender I've seen on the Cape this year, 100%. As for hitters, I would say Aloy on Bourne. He can hit. If you leave anything up, he mashes. He can really swing it. He's definitely stood out to me when we play Bourne for sure. I would say for pitchers, I faced Maverick Rizzi on against Brewster about a week ago. His stuff is really good. He was a really good pitcher.
That's another Northeast kid, correct?
Yep, another Northeast. I'm actually friends with Mav. We work out at the same place. So, but yeah, he's good. And then I'm trying to think of another arm. There's a couple. Oh, there was an arm on Harwich. It was I forget his name, but I know he went to South Carolina. He's like a lefty who was just up to like 98 in the first inning against me. And I had no idea, and I was like, yeah, that stuff looks a little different. That was kind of welcome to the Cape moment for me. But
he was early on, right?
Yeah, it was early on for sure. It was first or second week of the season.
Yeah, I think he was the guy that was donating Jake McCoy. Is that correct? Jake McCoy?
That sounds correct, yeah. But yeah. He was good.
Yeah, did he strike you out?
He got me in the first to bound a slider. It was I had no chance, but then I kind of second bat sold out for heater, and he gave me one, and I just like hit a little line drive over the shortstop's head. But
that first strikeout was a punch for a good cause. It
was. I learned from it, but yeah, his stuff was nasty. His stuff was nasty.
Cool. What's your favorite place to play on the Cape, and what's your least favorite place to play on the Cape? Now, no one's going to take any offense. In the past, people used to say, Wareham because of the gravel infield, and I like to think that was a nice character trait of Wareham's field.
Yeah, favorite. I have to go with Falmouth for favorite place to play. When you're at home, it's just a great feeling. Just like yes, like we don't have to go on a bus. So I'd say definitely Falmouth is the best place to play for me. Worst place? Oh boy. Honestly, I'd say Bourne.
Yeah.
We were just there last night. They have cicadas there that just jump out of the ground when you're in the outfield and you just get scared. So I don't like that. Also, they have a sand batter's eye, so it's hard to hit, hard to see.
Oh yeah. Why would they do that?
And the ball, and it's a graveyard, and the ball doesn't fly there. So the combination of those three is just like, damn.
Yeah, I do not want to play spot. All right, so this one just popped into my head while we were talking about this. I actually think it's a good one, and I'm curious to get your thoughts on it. Who do you think has the best threads on the Cape, and then who's got the worst uniforms?
Ooh. Oh, that's
on the spot.
Oh, Harwich and Bourne have really nice jerseys. Harwich has those baby blue jerseys that are really nice. Those are like my favorite jerseys on the Cape, like that, like those baby blue for sure. overall,
they always rock it with the stirrups too.
yeah, I think it has to be Harwich. Harwich has really nice jerseys. I would go with them for sure.
I always thought the Harwich was really good. I always really liked Falmouth's because I thought it was a tough look.
Really?
Yeah. Black and maroon.
I mean, it is nice. The jerseys are thick though, man.
Yeah.
You get hot in those, but they're nice. I like them. I like those.
Yeah. I think just from like a pure look standpoint.
Yeah, they're nice.
I mean, you don't know that those Harwich ones aren't heavy.
That is true. They look way too nice though. Those baby blues.
That's fair. What do you think? What do you think is the worst look?
From our maybe Wareham. It's hard to when I'm trying to like look back and think back about what the jerseys look like right now. Wareham, I don't really love their jerseys. Katuitt, I don't think I love their colors either. It would be like probably Wareham or Katuitt.
Yeah, I'm not trying to throw shade here or anything.
Like, yeah, that's why
I don't know if like Hyannis has changed up anything in recent years, but I remember there was a long time there where Hyannis's numbers were like they were screen printed, and I don't know if they're still doing that or not, but we'll move on from that so we don't hurt anyone's feelings. It's just a matter of taste. It's like obviously you're a big fan of the Harwich uniforms. There's someone out there who doesn't like them. All right.
That's true. I
doubt it. They do. All right. So you referenced it a couple different times, and I wasn't aware of this, so I apologize. Not going back to Wake Forest. Where are you headed this fall?
I committed to play at Maryland.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's cool.
I'm really pumped about that.
Yeah, so you're gonna get to play with like Hakopian.
Hakopian actually entered the portal.
Oh, he entered the portal.
Yeah, Hakopian's gone.
You're taking Hakopian's spot. No, Maryland's cool though because it's a smaller park, so you should hit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm pumped about that. Love the coach. I love the coaches.
What was the connection to Maryland?
It was Moose, Coach Muscara, Corey Muscara, he coached at Maryland beforehand, and that was a place I was interested in out of high school. So I've always kind of like liked Maryland. I ended up not going there, and then I know I'm a big fan of Coach Swope and what he's about with like motor preferences, all that type of stuff. And I just went on a visit there after the season ended. I just fell in love with the place. Like I love the place, love the facilities, the coaches, the school itself is amazing. But that kind of sold me on my visit there.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. So I was just talking to a friend of mine, and he sent me. So I live in Cary, North Carolina, and I guess one of the motor preferences guys just moved to Cary, North Carolina, and set up a shop down here. So
really,
it's kind of just ironic that he texted me that yesterday, and then here we are, and you're mentioning motor preferences. Do you want to talk a little bit about like what that means for the people that because like look, there's so many different approaches to development in baseball. Like high level, what is motor preferences?
So just like a general definition would kind of be like it's just the way that your body like naturally wants to move and naturally gathers information. So like there's different things like if you're a supinator or pronator, that will tell you how your bat path is. If it's steep or if it's flat, all depends kind of like on various factors. But like if you supinate like me, it's gonna lay the barrel back and be very flat. So that's just like an example of that. I also have like a left motor eye, which means that my left eye wants to gather the information from the pitch. So for me, I need to make sure my left eye is fully opened up and my face is fully opened up so I can see the pitcher and then therefore get more information into that left eye. So it's just like different things like that all over the body, kind of what your body prefers and how it moves and how it gathers information. That's kind of what motor preferences is.
So yeah, this is a really cool nugget for the people listening. Like something that I don't think of the casual baseball fan probably doesn't understand on the development side. And we talked about this a little bit offline before we got in here, is that there's so much information available, right? And a lot of development for a long time at the pro level, and then it's trickled down into the college level, and it's even trickled down into, the elite high school level as well. It starts with like, okay, well, what is having success data wise? What data markers are success in Major League Baseball? And then how do we get guys to do that?
Yeah.
And I think where motor preferences differs is it's a little bit more of like, hey, we're not going to try and force your body to do something that it maybe can't do. We are going to lean into what your body wants to do naturally and then figure out what ways we can optimize from there. Is that correct?
Yep. That's a great way to put it.
Yeah. Because if you go back and there's probably some recent examples, but it was a lot more prevalent in the early years of applying data to development professional baseball. There were a lot of guys that weren't doing, they were trying to get guys to do things that their body didn't naturally want to do. And it either leads to injury or potentially leads to like throwing a guy off to a point where like maybe he used to throw strikes and now he doesn't throw as many strikes. Or from a hitter standpoint, goes from seeing the ball to, not seeing the ball. Like, oh, this guy had good bat to ball skills. We're trying to get to more power. We're trying to change his swing. Now all of a sudden, like he's not hitting and he's not getting to power.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think it's really neat. I think it's cool that was part of your decision and going to Maryland. Excited for you that you're in a place that's going to be able to understand who you are as a mover and just kind of optimize you from there. So on the subject of going back to school, it is late July and we're just right around the corner from that. What are you going to take back with you from your experience in Falmouth this summer? Like how have you developed as a player from your 2 years at Wake this summer at Falmouth and then, for your process moving forward?
Yeah, I think that what was really different about this summer for me was playing every day. I think we've played 31 games. I've played in, I think, 29 of them. So it's just like if you're playing every day, at least for me, I'm sure like almost every player feels this way. Like your swing, your timing don't feel the same every day. Every day it's going to be a little different. So for me this summer, it was just being consistent and finding a way to be consistent with my swing, with the way I'm moving, with how I feel, and all of that. And I haven't had the opportunity to do that in college ball. But now when you're playing 6 days a week, it's like, oh, I went over 4 today. Well, I have 4 more tomorrow. Let's find a way. Let's find a way to get 1 tomorrow. Let's find a way to get 2 tomorrow. And then you just keep building day after day with the consistencies, with the good mindset. And I think that's what I'm going to carry over. It's more the mental side than physical side. Because I've played a lot of baseball. Like I know how to play the game. I know how to like the fundamentals of baseball, but it's really the mental side that needs to develop for me more. And I think that's like, it's been a big part of my summer. It's just like mentally developing and finding ways to be more consistent.
That's really good insight. And I think that's something that's so important about summer baseball and why not just playing 15 games in the summer like that. You're missing out on exactly what you said. Like if you play the full season, then you're getting kind of your first taste of like, this is what it's like to play every day. Because you're not even really getting that in college either. You're playing midweek and then you're playing 3 on the weekend. It's like, okay, well, you get to the Cape and it's like, you're go, 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 go. And at the highest levels of the game, whether it's Major League Baseball or like if you're grinding it out, the ACL or the FCL, I'm sorry you had a bad day and I'm sorry you had another bad day. And those bad days can snowball if you don't figure out a way to grind and essentially battle. Because there are going to be stretches of days where you're not going to be seeing it right. And like, you're going to have to get in the box and you're going to have to figure out a way to help the team.
100%.
And, that might be moving a runner. That might be working a walk on, a 6, 7, 8 pitch at bat. And then you're going to hit those periods of time where the ball is going to look like a beach ball and you're going to be on fire. Right. But
100%.
The reality of it is that most baseball fans see, highlights Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani, and those guys never go cold. Right. But most guys in Major League Baseball lineups are going through these periods of like, I got to battle today and tomorrow and the next day and the next day until it kind of locks back in. And when it locks back in, then hitting's fun again.
100%. Yeah. Right on the dot.
So, Antonio, I really appreciate you taking the time to hop on with us. Congrats again, All-Star MVP.
Thank you.
Commitment to Maryland. Looking forward to, watching a fellow Northeast guy continuing his career. go doors. You got a run in you. You guys got a run in you here the next couple of weeks.
What do you say? Sorry.
Do you guys have a run in you here the next couple of weeks? Put some wins together.
I mean, yeah. I mean, we got to do it now. We only got like 9 left. We got to get hot. So
that's it.
I appreciate you having me on the show. Thank you.
Yeah, no doubt. And enjoy the rest of your summer. And best of luck to you in the future.
I appreciate it. Thank you. You too.
That was Antonio Morales of the Falmouth Commodores from Norfolk, Massachusetts, recent Maryland commit. Awesome conversation there. Obviously, we got into the All Star discussion and how cool of an experience that was for him, having his family there, but then also being able to get into the weeds a little bit more on the development side of things and his mindset when it comes to baseball and, talking motor preferences and Matt Swope at Maryland, and then also kind of talking through, the value of playing every day on the Cape and the experience that he got there that he didn't get his first 2 years of college baseball, and that, kind of really drilling in the importance of playing summer baseball, especially for hitters, just getting regular at bats every single day and kind of learning the grind. Because, as people say, baseball is a game of failure. And I think Antonio did a really good job of kind of talking through, how he's experiencing the summer and kind of, encountering that for the first time and how he's battling on a day-to-day basis. So great conversation with Antonio. Really appreciate him taking the time. This has been another episode of the Codcast. I'm your host, Matt Pajak, and I will see you next week.